Hi, this video is about AI implementation agencies, why, what, and how. My name is David Hood, and I'm CEO of 42 Robots AI, where we help organizations implement AI. And I'll put some links to some relevant videos below that will help explain some of the concepts I put into this video. Okay, so why hire? First of all, what's really super critical is speed of action. And this is the center of all of why you need to hire this, because there's not that much talent. It's hard to find good AI engineers. I'll explain a little bit more about that in a second, that have real world, practical, modern, especially with large language model experience. Also, at the same time, your competitors are probably embracing AI, at least if they're good competitors. And if they beat you to the punch and they get this ball rolling faster than you, then it's going to be hard for you to catch up. Not impossible necessarily, it depends, but the longer you wait, the harder it will be. Because this is a long-term muscle building process to learn as an organization how to use AI and what it can actually do nowadays, because there's a lot of hand waving going on and there's a lot of people dismissing certain things, and I think not discussing some of the key cool new capabilities that come out of AI so even if somebody else is helping you and doing a lot of the initial work for you, as you get deeper into that, it'll help your organization build muscle. That's a key factor here. So it's not like if your competitors spend the next 2 years building that muscle, even if they don't get a ton of value out of it immediately, which I would be willing to bet that a decent bit of that they would, and you can't just come in 2 years from now and be like, all right, now we're going to put in our AI implementation, and it's going to take time for you still to build that muscle at that point. And part of the reason why it's really hard to find good AI engineers is because basically the way I would look at it is the modern LLM, large language model tools did not really come about until about 18 months ago, about a year and a half ago. That's when GPT-4 came out. So unless you already have somebody at your organization who has AI engineering experience, which is very unlikely with most companies, then this is something where you definitely want to hire. And even then, if somebody says they have AI engineering experience, I would be very skeptical of it. So what to look for? Again, this comes down to, will the real AI engineers please stand up? I see a lot of people claiming to be AI engineers, but when you really look a little bit deeper, they're just putting a label on themselves, and there's not many people who can tell them no. And so that means actually using large language models as tools to solve real world problems, and not in the model as a solution as a model way, which is where the LLM is put at the center and all the work goes into prompt engineering, training, a lot of focus on training as if that's the only way to solve the problems that you have, and then maybe some retrieval augmented generation or some tools where basically the LLM is at the center of the solution. This in our R&D and lots of in our client experiences, this is the backwards way to go about doing it, and you leave most of the use cases on the table with this. This is also where a lot of times people think, oh, well, we can just get Microsoft Copilot, which is a real facepalm, self-owned type of thing, because it does not solve the problem. It does not enable you to really build something for your use cases. I do recommend getting a chief AI officer, and if you maybe these are really hard to find, because I think they also need real AI engineering experience to be an effective chief AI officer. They can't just have studied things. They can't have just be done machine learning. That's not the same thing as AI engineering. They need to have actually, again, used AI to use large language models to solve real world problems. And so this is, and be kind of senior at the same time and understand a bit more of like business and systems. So this is even a higher bar. And so these are few and far between. So, which is why I do recommend at least checking out and discussing, talking to us about our fractional chief AI officer services, because we can help you get that ball rolling. This is the key first thing that you should hire, especially if you don't have any AI engineering experience at your company, like real world experience. And this person's going to be not just have an understanding of what can be done, but also the authority and the gumption and the interest to be the champion for building that muscle as an organization. Definitely want a very practical focus here, and that's why you don't want the solution as the model as the model as the solution. You don't want the LLM centric approach. You want more of a software engineering approach where you instead of putting as much as you can into the solution into the LLM as possible, which is what you get with the LLM centric solution, you actually want to pull as much of the solution out as possible in order to dramatically increase the reliability, which is one of the challenges that a lot of companies are running into. They're like, we can solve this problem, but we solve it 50% of the time, which doesn't really help you a whole lot. And so when you do it more software engineering, like you use LLMs at key places to solve problems you couldn't solve otherwise, and then at the places where you could use non-LLMs, you don't. I mean, where you could use classic deterministic non-random coding, you do. In other words, if you don't need to use LLMs, you shouldn't to solve a problem, because it's faster, cheaper, and less expensive to solve it with just classic coding. And this is a much more practical viewpoint, but it's also less interesting to a lot of nerds and PhDs in computer science, because then they're not solving the problem the fancy, magical way, which to me is, I mean, fine, go do that in like an academic environment, but when it comes to businesses, you got to be real practical. That fancy, magical way might cost you a 10,000 times more and take way, way, way longer. I'm going to shoot a video on the GPTX fallacy soon, and that one will help a lot with you understanding what I mean there. Okay, how to hire. So first of all, just talk to us, and you'll get a free custom AI implementation roadmap. Give us a call. Click the link below. And this will help speed up this process dramatically, even if you don't hire us for services. I think this will be very, very, very helpful for you and provide a tremendous amount of value. And so what you need is you need to first identify needs of your organization. And I think a chief AI officer is going to be the best fit for this versus some amount of consulting. Again, I would be very careful with a lot of the consulting. Really look out for the model as the solution is the model, because that's going to be a very big red flag that they're not going to be able to really solve things for you, or they're going to leave 99% plus of the use cases on the table. And then you want to identify the first projects. I recommend going with the lowest hanging fruit, not necessarily the highest value, but the ones where you can get the quick wins. This is for just to get momentum, to get the muscle building, to get buy-in politically. And then after you get a few of those quick wins, or at least one, then you can move on to some of the more high value tasks. And then you hire for you hire first for the needs and target projects. Again, so this is probably going to be a chief AI officer and at least one AI engineer. But it depends on the scenario. You might have different needs, or maybe need more. Maybe you just need the chief AI officer for some reason. Maybe you have somebody you can move into the chief AI officer position. It's not really so simple, but I would be very cautious about just moving somebody who has previous software experience or is a machine learning engineer into the chief AI officer position. Okay. Anyway, give us a call or click the link below, and we will be able to help you out. Thank you very much. If you have any thoughts or feelings on this video, please, you can leave comments below. Happy to discuss with you. Please like this video if you're still watching, and have a great day. Bye.